Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation. We are presentation group 14 and our topic is on the metaverse and how it affects privacy issues. First of all, we have to discuss the technology that makes the metaverse a reality. That brings us to the VR. Well, what is the VR? VR stands for virtual reality. Virtual reality is the use of computer technology to create simulated environments. Virtual reality places the user inside a three-dimensional experience where they can interact with objects. Instead of viewing a screen in front of them, users are immersed in and interact with 3D worlds. Virtual reality technology is a growing force beyond entertainment and an important tool in education, science, commerce, manufacturing, and more. VR is not new as it has been around since the 1980s, but it has significantly improved over time in quality and usage. VR is used quite a lot, but the metaverse will try to have it used even more by almost everyone. The other technology that brings us the metaverse is AR. Now, what is AR? AR stands for augmented reality. In AR, the real world is viewed directly or via a device such as a camera to create a visual and adds to that vision with computer-generated inputs such as still graphics, audio, or video. AR is different from VR because it adds the real-world experience rather than creating a new experience from scratch. And as you can see from the picture, these are some examples of VR, like Pokemon Go and this person's goggles. So before we talk about the metaverse, we need to talk about the company that was before the metaverse, and that is Facebook. Facebook was the original company before it changed its name to Meta and focused on the metaverse project. Facebook was a social media company created in 2004 by Mark Zuckerberg, which grew into one of the largest tech companies today. Facebook owned many apps like Instagram, WhatsApp, and Oculus. Facebook was responsible for bringing the high amounts of internet users today. Facebook recently changed its company name to Meta in order to fully focus on the creation of the metaverse. Facebook had many incidents with privacy of users in the past, and this will be discussed further in the presentation. Now, here we are at the metaverse. The metaverse is a virtual reality world where users can interact with objects and other users. Metaverse uses technologies of VR, AR, and smart glasses. The metaverse is created by Meta, formerly Facebook, and is still being improved on today. You will be able to move around in an avatar inside the VR world. And some pictures are here. That's what the metaverse is, and this is the avatar, and this is the devices you'll be using to access the metaverse. Metaverse is another way for people to interact with other humans virtually, building platforms like workrooms to have more human social interaction within one another. Just like a video game, but Metaverse is one that drops you into the game and really has the feeling of someone else that is side by side with you, having a digital format that can give the ability to have more of a human connection. Metaverse is going to change the way businesses do their business. There are many uses of the metaverse, and we're going to talk about 3 of them. The first use of the metaverse is education. The metaverse has already been used in education today with an online 3D classroom environment. In the future, metaverse may be used even more for online classes. Instead of a Zoom meeting, students and teachers will be able to see each other face to face and interact virtually. Education will be a lot more effective online with more features using our bodies and hands in the virtual realm, like taking notes with your actual body inside the virtual world. The metaverse could also be used for gaming. Gaming in VR is not new and has been around for quite a while and is pretty popular. Like VR chat, and the equipment used for gaming is Oculus. The metaverse will provide lots of gaming experiences for users as it announces more video games to come in the future. Currently, there are also lots of virtual sports that you can use in the metaverse, like chess, ping pong, bowling, and many more. So then the final or another use of the metaverse is social. In the metaverse, communication between users will be very realistic since you will be able to see each other's avatars while you are talking to them. Socializing will be a lot more fun through this way and more effective than a regular screen. You can have meetings with friends in a virtual beach, or you can play cards in space with friends. And these are not the only uses, there are many more uses of the metaverse.
Hello everybody, my name is Samuel. So we are going to be talking about the surveillance that follows us into the metaverse. So not only is that VR is kind of in depth with our bodies, because we do have to put these goggles on to go into the virtual reality. But now with this happening, these systems can now monitor our eye vision. So whatever we're looking into the metaverse or virtual reality inside that environment, this is monitoring our eyesight. So depending on where we look, up, down, at a certain sign or a certain person, maybe looking at their t-shirt, the devices that they're holding, this is all tracking the data. So whatever we are looking at, the data is compiling up. So when they go back into looking into this, they can actually see, okay, hey, this person's looked more into the shirt or the device the person was holding or this big screen that was up in the sky. They can all track this. So now that they can grab this data from us and then try to sell it to other business that are trying to market or advertise their system, this just can help extremely navigate of how this whole VR system is actually going to work in the next couple years. If it's not so, it's already happening now. So data is being tracked already. It's just now, how is this data going to be sold and what is it going to lead to in the next couple years? So Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates, he actually talked about this, and one of his quotes was basically saying he expects the metaverse to be part of our workplaces in the next 3 years. I mean, come on guys, the next 3 years is going to be around the corner. So if not, there's already businesses that are already buying real estate in the VR systems and trying to advertise whatever they can to buy up that real estate so they can start marketing, so people can actually see their, their businesses depending on what they're trying to market. But it's just a huge big data idea that marketing consumers are actually seeing the big real estate in this. So it's actually going to be pretty crazy to actually go to a meeting for business in the virtual reality system. So I'm kind of excited. I know there's a lot of people that's not too sure about it, but definitely it's the way technology is booming, and it's always going to be increasing no matter how we want it to slow down. It's not happening. So in this virtual reality, obviously we have headsets, and like I said down below in this paragraph, like I said, the headset basically checks out the data, what we're looking at, and it just helps advertising, the profiling of how to set up different systems in the virtual reality system. So this is just going to be a game changer for anybody that's in the business or in the tech business. This is a big booming real estate. So on to the next side, we have companies that are already loving our data. I mean, a lot of us probably have 10 to 20 apps on our phone. I know that's pretty pushing it, but I've met a few people that have several apps on their systems. And every time you download these systems, it always comes with a prompt that says, do you want to be monitored or do you not want to be monitored? Well, either way you push, I want to be private, I want to be public, your data is already up in the cloud. It's already being stressed enough that it's grabbing your data extremely well. I mean, even if we say private, these actual companies are actually selling our data without even telling us. So I know, sad story, it sucks. But also that's one of the biggest things why we're trying to showcase this, is that our data is already being publicized, no matter what safety features you do have on your phone. And that's what's getting increasing in the metaverse. We have questions, this is a new technology system, is now how do we protect ourselves, our children, our data, our business? And that's one of the big questions. So one of the investigations by Washington Post, he also found that companies were sharing personal data, such as your name, email, location, to these third parties. I know, it's insane. If you can look down below in this actual picture of Pandora, this is where it's actually showing what has been released. I know, Pandora, Jesus, I'm pretty sure a lot of us have it, Spotify. So definitely, if you could see down below what it's already been shared, I know it's pretty crazy, but like I said in this picture below, technology loves our data, and these companies are seeing that, and they're using whatever tactics they can do to extract that data and use it to benefit their businesses. So it's pretty crazy. Like I said, this is all new real estate, it's all new environment, and these, we have questions, you know, new companies, new technology, it's really increasing. So definitely something that you guys want to look at, or actually do more research on top of it as well. So on to the next slide, metaverse in the working environment. On my first slide, we were talking about how the metaverse was getting incorporated with the businesses. And I know it sounds crazy, but if you could see the pictures down below, they're already having meetings with businesses with like little emoji characters. And these are like, you know, you would go to class, VR, Zoom, and this is where now virtual reality takes place. You put your goggles on and now you're at the meeting. So that cuts what? Driving, getting ready for work. It's all done at home. I know, it's crazy. How exciting, right? Man, I don't have to drive 3 hours to go to work. Even better, right? So this actually is now another question, is how this data, how is that securing your life and your children's life, right? So down in this paragraph, I was talking about how this data for employees, how these employers and their data is getting now gathered by whether the boss is trying to track whether you're paying attention. Like I said, there's eye tracking systems on these virtual systems. So if you're paying attention, that data is actually sending those data points to your boss to say, hey, you know, David's not really paying attention. We're showing that the data is increasing. He's probably not even there. So it's actually showing more of an awareness to your boss, which is kind of crazy. And then also it has obviously facial movements. So like I said, when you're moving in the virtual reality, it is tracking all that data, whether you looked up, you nodded, you agreed to the presentation, or you did not agree at all. So this is definitely a game changer in the working environment, but at the least, it's also your data that's being compromised, right? So it kind of sucks into that era. But in the game changer is like, wow, I don't gotta drive to work. I'm always trying to look for the positive in everything. So like I said, this one's pretty crazy. Is just, how is our data being secured? And like I said, this is one of the biggest things that's coming into technology, is this big real estate environment. So like I said, in this picture down below, you can actually see the signals from the employee to see if like, oh, hey, is he paying attention? He's not paying attention. This can all show where all, you know, your interactions happening in the VR system. So definitely an eye catcher. Even on the right hand side right here, it also shows that, hey, someone's talking or speaking engagement, so, or someone raised their hand. So this is all being tracked off these sensors and movements within the system. So this is all tracking your data. And like I said, this is coming into the working environment. Many technology companies are also loving the success of this, but also there's employers that, hey, you're grabbing too much of my, you know, my information, my data, the way I see things, and on a personal level. So that's where it's kind of a negative and a positive with the metaverse right now. On to the next slide, metaverse for the education. We just talked about how we were doing it for the working environment. Now we move to the education. Like I said, teachers have the ability now to build these virtual systems, and also like Zoom, you know, you would have to create a Zoom link to have a Zoom meeting with your fellow colleagues, or, you know, students as well. So with this being said, now, you know, without the teachers going to class and, you know, with all this COVID stuff, now people can put these goggles on and have a nice virtual system to see your monitoring and you know, whether you're paying attention or not. But like I said, that's now moving into your child's life. So now we talked about the working employee. Now we're talking about your children using it for school, which, I mean, it's kind of crazy that that's moving into that era so fast. But like I said in the previous slides, technology is moving every day, every second, every minute. 365 days, technology is booming. So like I said, in the next generation of the internet, metaverse will be the total immersive experience. Like I said, there's many students that already love technology, and it's already increasing day by day, and now we're incorporating in education. So now, not only is that the kids come home and they are addicted to playing on their games, playing on their phones, their tablets, their computers. Now we're taking that system and now using it for the education purposes. So you can see that the ball is moving and technology is increasing. So it's like they never get away from the actual technology itself. So it's like they're stuck into this environment where it's like, okay, I can also educate myself, now play games, but also where is that data leading to? And that's one of the biggest questions, is that, are we really going to be secured on the metaverse? Is it taking us to the next level? Like I said, Meta is still increasing and trying to up its privacy, but like I said, anything that comes with technology, there's always a vulnerability, and there's always a chance of your data being concealed. Like we talked in the previous slides, Pandora, when you also download it, it also is releasing your data to a third business party, not knowing who that third party business is, but your data is being released to that company without you even being aware. When you're sleeping, you're cooking, you're taking a shower, your data is being shown throughout the cloud, through the internet, and businesses are soaking up that data. They just love it. So I'm going to let you on to the next slides with my next colleagues, and I hope you really enjoy this great presentation on the Metaverse. Have an amazing day.
Hello, this is Saif. One of the other uses for Metaverse is gaming. Gaming is one of the huge industries of our world nowadays, and it has been developing to us in a new forms and in new experiences since the exist of computers. And nowadays we have this new concept called the Metaverse, and it is being developed every single day. And as Evie Koic, CEO of Game Factory, said that the Metaverse is actually something that existed in the game industry for a long time. Nowadays there are many games that have created their own fictional world, such as Habbo Hotel and Roblox. And Roblox, which has become one of the most popular games in the world, especially among children, has the concept of Metaverse in it already. So the concept of Metaverse already exists in our lives, but this virtual world just doesn't feel realistic enough. So technologies such as VR and AR will make it feel more realistic. So using the VR and AR technologies will make the metaverse great place for gamers and developers, and it's going to open more room for creativity and making realistic experience games that require us to use our bodies and fully engage in the world and with people inside the game. And that's how gaming in the metaverse will change our lives.
Hello everyone, my name is Arush, and today I'll be talking about some of the critiques that the metaverse has, and just the ones that have come up so far, and I'm sure there will be more as time goes on and we learn more about the metaverse. So, in general, I will be going over critiques that range in topics from laws and regulations, proving your identity, immersion in the metaverse, and transactions in the metaverse. So to begin, let's talk about laws and regulations. And so in general, any open environment requires some amount of policing. There have already been cases of women feeling unsafe in certain metaverse worlds. Just like issues of free speech exist in modern social media platforms like Twitter, it is inevitable that they will arise in the metaverse in the same fashion. And Facebook does not have the best track record in terms of maintaining a fair and misinformation-free platform. So why this matters is because Metaverse is not just any other social media platform. You have way more freedom in terms of the things you do, the way you do things, that you can presumably write in the Metaverse, you can speak in the Metaverse. Not sure exactly who you can speak to, or like maybe how loud you can speak, how many people can hear you, but you can there are more ways, and the question is who is responsible. And someone needs to enforce some kind of laws so that Metaverse doesn't just become a dystopia. Moving on, kind of on the same, kind of on a tangent, but proving your identity is another big part. So some questions are you comfortable with giving Meta personally identifiable information to establish your and your specific identity. How do you know that someone is truly who they say they are on the platform? Accounts can be shared, and in my experience, I have multiple Facebook accounts. Why can't I just change my account, become a completely different person, and go on the internet making people believe that I am this completely different person? Also, what if an account is hacked and people are misled into believing or doing something because of a stolen identity? And this is actually a topic of wide debate right now, as companies like Google and their YouTube platform have been sued multiple times and are considering making, or there's legislation that considers making YouTube responsible for everything that is put in the platform, and that is a logistical nightmare for YouTube, and that is something that Meta and Metaverse are probably going to have to deal with as well. Moving on, immersion. So as of right now, networking and communicating in the Metaverse is pretty much just simply glorified phone calls or video calls. To add to immersion and truly make the experience feel like something more than just a call, technology will have to advance to the point where more than just the senses of vision and hearing can be utilized. This technology is important to give Metaverse users a more enhanced sense of their surroundings. So to know who's around you, to be able to touch something, and maybe like if you want to experience playing basketball together, you want to be able to experience the feeling of a ball in your hands and like shooting the ball. That is an important part that will truly make the experience stand out as compared to just being on a video call, because if it's all about just talking or going to a art museum, that can still technically be done with just a video call or like screen share. And finally, transactions. So there will likely be many different currencies being used in the Metaverse at the same time. So Meta will have to build currency exchange systems to enable transactions to occur. So this comes into play when there are users from different countries where different currencies are being used, all trying to like take part in a metaverse that is not based in that country, and the financial system is completely different. So cryptocurrency might be a solution to this, but Meta will have to build trust with its users that their payments are secure. And another big question in terms of security and safety on the platform is, will the Metaverse allow transactions for goods and services outside of the Metaverse? Because that kind of freedom can be exploited, and when Metaverse does not have control, or Meta or Metaverse does not have control of the things that are being sold, it can get a lot dicier in terms of what can be done with the money. And finally, I wanted to go over how will the Metaverse be monetized, and the true and clear answer to this is there is no clear word on how Meta is planning to monetize their immensely complex project, which almost certainly required lots and lots of research and development spending. And while Mark Zuckerberg has promised that Facebook will always remain free to use, no such promise has been made for the Metaverse. Despite the monetization model, privacy concerns will definitely not disappear. You're still using a service from a company whose other operations depend on user data. And so some of the possibilities are that the entirety, all of Metaverse will be free to use and enter. And in this case, it will be monetized through ads, collecting information on you and selling that information, serving you ads. And then another thing could be everything from entering the Metaverse to each individual experience will have a cost associated with it. So maybe Metaverse is a subscription model, but there will be microtransactions to join this world or join another world that either Meta or like a partner company is creating. And finally, anything in between. Entering the Metaverse may be free. There might be some free experiences available to everyone, but some special experiences could cost money depending on who makes them and what they are. Thank you.